Hi, everybody, and I've been reading the introductions. I'm more than halfway through. It's Saturday, 10:51 a.m., and by noon, at the latest, everybody will have feedback on their introductions from me. So make sure to read them. I've also noticed that a lot of your classmates are giving you good feedback, so read all of it, not just mine. And there's a couple things that I've made notes on, and I wanted to just get this out here as soon as possible. Whenever possible, in your introduction, make sure that you're as specific as possible. Sometimes people say things like, there are many things, or there are good and bad, and it's just very general, and we know that, right? So if you can get more specific, and instead of saying there are good and bad things about something, which we pretty much know, go straight into one of the good things or one of the bad things. So look, whenever you're being very general in your introduction, see if you can't become more specific. And typically, once you do that, you will see for yourself that that's a stronger introduction. So, more specific. The other is we's and I's typically don't show up in a lot of academic papers unless you have a personal experience that lines up with it. So if I had gone through cancer treatment, it would make sense if I'm writing a paper about treatments for cancer that once in a while, maybe like when I was in chemo and there's a reason for the connection. But otherwise, your name is on the paper. We know all these ideas are coming from you, so we don't need you to say, I think this. Just say what the thing is that you think. And it's going to be much stronger writing because as soon as you put the focus on you, then we can talk about you instead of the argument. So if I said, I think the Vikings are terrible, you can respond with, well, you're an idiot. As opposed to if I said the Vikings are terrible because even though they make it to playoffs, they have a habit of choking at whatever. Now you've got to deal with the actual argument. So unless there is a super strong reason to have I in there, take them out. When it comes to your thesis, this first draft, it will be really important, and in a lot of academic papers, they want the thesis to be the last sentence of the introduction. Uh, it's very helpful in the draft stage because then everybody can see, oh, that's what you're trying to say. Do you do it? So, for the purposes of giving feedback, I want everybody to end the introduction like it said in the post about grading, last sentence of the introduction. Now, as we get more sophisticated in this, and by the time we get to the end, sometimes, and this typically goes with the question, a person might want to end with the question and then the answer, the thesis, is actually at the end. That can be really effective. But first, I want to see that you've got an idea structurally. So put it up front. And just know at the end, if you're like, hey, Steve, I really like ending with this question and leading to the answer, for your final revision, you can do that. For your first draft, I want to have it right up there because that will help the people reading your paper and myself see if, oh, the person said they wanted to talk about these three aspects of the psychology of fear. That's what we're going to look for. So make sure last sentence of your intro is your thesis. And said that. The other thing I want to say is looking at the three sources post. The instruction said give 2 to 3 sentence summary of the source that you had. Some of you did that. Great job. Others of you put one sentence or didn't have a sentence. Go back before I grade this, and I'll wait another couple days and make sure you give us a 2 to 3 sentence summary. One of the ways that we, meaning not you, right, but the other people can use those 2 to 3 summaries, sentences, number one, that will help us evaluate if it's something that we want to go see. Two, say I'm in your group and you're writing your paper and I'm like, oh man, I wish you had some more information on this. I can go back and I'll show people how to do this. Find your post, see what sources you have, and say, hey, is there something in this source that you could bring in? So there's a couple different ways we're going to use that. We might use that 2 to 3 sentence summary on your sources. So make sure to go back and make sure you have them. Okay. For those of you who got the introductions in, good job, right? Because now we got something to work with. See my feedback. For those of you who haven't yet, get it in there, then get going on the paper. It's due Monday. And remember, the biggest thing about this is get something done. right? Don't worry about perfect, worry about complete. So we have something to talk about and build off of. All right, keep working. I hope you have a good, productive weekend with some personal time thrown into.